My coverage of CES 2024 is brought to you by Cooler Master, Kioxia, Asus, and Gigabyte. I'm at Thermaltake now. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary with a new, unique color that they have some special design chassis for. It is not periwinkle blue, although she is terribly partial to the periwinkle blue gloss. It is marigold blue, but it's not just that. They have a bunch of new cases. We're going to do a whirlwind tour and cover as much of it as we possibly can. Let's go. So here's a first look at some of the new products with that nice marigold blue finish. The 25th anniversary special edition logo. Thermaltake has a wide variety of cases from the CTE series and the series cases, and they're going to be doing this special color with several of the different models with the 25th anniversary logo down in the front. They plan to continue with this color in the future as well beyond that. The limited 25th anniversary editions of these should be available for about a year, and after that you will still be able to get the blue color, just not with that 25th anniversary logo. Let's start over here with the CTE E600 MX, a new entry in the CTE series. These are actually already out. They just launched a couple weeks ago in December, but you might notice they're continuing their design where the motherboard is sort of inset in the case. So your I/O is actually up at the top and your expansion slots are over on the left side. But they also have this very unique PCIe Gen 4 riser cable. You can sort of see right up here. They split that into ribbons so you can sort of tie it down and cable manage it a little bit better, and that lets you do like cool floating GPUs out here in the middle of the case, for example. The chassis has an MSRP of $180. It's not going to ship with fans though, so let me know in the comments if you guys would rather see this ship with Thermaltake fans. As you can see, they are kitted out with right now, whether you're looking at the white version or the black version, or if you'd rather have the flexibility to buy the case without fans so you can add your own. Because a lot of people already have a good idea of what fans they want to use when they set out to do a build, and if it's not the ones that come with the case, then maybe you're wasting money on the fans in the case, even though you're not going to use them. Systems are liquid cooled, of course, and Thermaltake very much caters to liquid cooling enthusiasts. And just look at the radiator support on this case. We have a 360 at the bottom, we have a 420 at the back with three 140s. They have a distro plate installed back there, but you could do an additional 360 right there. There's actually space up on top for up to a 280. And while I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in this tempered glass wraparound look for the front, it does also have a bracket as well as a swap out front panel with perforations. So you could switch this to like maximum airflow and install yet another 360 or 420 millimeter radiator right there. Next we have an evolution of the Ceres, that's C-E-R-E-S, as in like the star. Is it a star or a constellation? Either way. Ceres330 has already been out for a while, and this one is going to have the same exterior, but now upgraded to the 330 so it can support, gasp, this whole back to front thing. I guess if you're Asus, or Project Stealth if you're Gigabyte, or I forget what MSI calls there, but moving the connectors to the back of the motherboard. Thermaltake is accommodating motherboards of that style, and I will say, in terms of like functionality, having the plugs back here is helpful for stuff like these top 8-pin power connectors up there. And of course it's going to lead to like a very clean build in terms of the cables that are actually visible within the system. This one's getting away with just the single 600 watt 12VH power connector, but you can see no other visible cables there because they've all been moved to the back. Now, to help with any confusion in terms of the model numbers here, do note that the Ceres330 is going to be the one without the back to front stuff. The Ceres330 is going to be the one with the pass-throughs here. I asked if they're moving any closer to making a uniform standard for where the connectors are on the back so that case manufacturers can make cases that will be compatible with a wider variety of these style of motherboards from MSI, Gigabyte, or Asus, or I suppose ASRock too for that matter. But they did say that they have expanded these slots, so you can see here they have a wider pass-through point right up here. So you can see up here there's even a little bit more room north of where the connectors are passing through. So depending on the motherboard, if there were connectors further up there, you would still be able to access them from the back. The Ceres330 tempered glass ARGB as well as the Hydrangea blue variety are both $110. The ARGB one is already out as of December 10th, and the Hydrangea Blue is coming out on January 14th. Moving on down the line, we have a concept case. This one is still in development, so we don't have word on like a launch date or pricing or anything like that. It's sort of like taking a lot of the design elements of the CTE chassis down there, as well as some of the stuff from like the Tower series, which we have a new version of down there, and sort of mashing it together for a micro ATX chassis that still seems like it can handle a lot of hardware installed. They of course have a vertical GPU mount here. This one has a rotated motherboard, so the I/O is going to be up on top. It is a dual chamber case design, so the back of it there is where you're going to house your power supply and stuff like that, and they have a white variant of it here as well. Both of them looking pretty clean and with a heavy focus on airflow, so I definitely appreciate that. And we're curious to see where they go with this one. Maybe it'll come to market at some point, probably later this year. So keep an eye out for maybe Computex coverage to see if there's an update on the CTE C200. This over here, we have a case that I'm quite interested in, actually. They have not 5 but 6 colors currently. Black, white, which is on its side over there, more on that in just a moment. This sort of bumblebee finish with the yellow and black, a turquoise, the dark green, and the light matcha green as well. This is the Power 300. It is going to be $150, and a couple of them are available now, like the black and snow edition. A little bit later in January, we'll have the turquoise and blue, and then at the beginning of February, we'll have the green and yellow variants available as well. Apart from being this unique tower style design, Thermaltake has also, like, if you look at the Tower 100 and 200, they have sort of a square footprint. They've gone with more, they went like Civilization style, like upgrading to Civ 5 or something like that, going with more of a hex design, as you can see right here. You're still going to have support for very large graphics cards in terms of thickness and length, and again, you're going to have support for massive radiators, not just up to 360 millimeter like they have installed right here in this one, but also 420 millimeter, as you can see installed right there. Tower style design means you have a bottom to top airflow setup, as well as of course some intakes on the side. The systems they have here have the optional LCD screen installed. That is a sold separately add-on. But you also might question, since the motherboard is rotated again with the I/O on the top, how do you get there? Well, getting to the internals of the case is not too difficult. This front panel pops off to give you access to the inside of the case. The 2 side panels pop off as well. They're not held on by screws. They're secured by those little grabby tongue holder things. I don't know what they're called, but they're convenient. They're easy to use. Also, the top of the chassis can pop off. There you have a couple Thermaltake swap fans installed, because with the larger footprint, you have enough room for 2 fans up there for exhaust. And if you want to know how to get to the I/O, just flip up that panel. If you're using Thermaltake swap fans, you could even unplug them because they just have a single point of connection. And that gives you access to your motherboard I/O as well as your graphics card connectors. From there, you can pass the cables back through and then run them down a channel in the back of the case and out the back, so you can have a nice clean overall setup. Again, I think it's great that Thermaltake is offering this in multiple finishes right out of the gate. Even this one, which they have gone ahead and called the Bumblebee finish. It's black and yellow. Looks a lot like Bumblebee. Pretty cool look, especially when you've got the lighting synced up inside as well. And then this one over here is on its side. Here's a snow edition of the Tower 300, and this is a sold separately base that allows you to sort of set it on its side, so it looks like a cryogenic cooling chamber or something out of like Alien or something like that. And another nice attention to detail, along with this stand, you'll get a different cover for the bottom, because, you know, over here you've got like feet so it can sit vertically in the tower style, but you wouldn't want that side of the case on display if you're rotating it on its side. So simply pop that panel in instead, and then you have a nice clean finished look and maintain plenty of airflow. Over here we have the Thermaltake GR500 Racing Simulator Cockpit. Did you know that Thermaltake makes racing simulators? The cockpit is basically the housing at the bottom as well as the chair. That's going to sell for $800 by itself. You then have a triple monitor mount, which they're using for a wraparound display. That's the monitor mount. There'll be an additional $170 to finish out that racing setup. And these are actually Thermaltake monitors too. Did you guys know Thermaltake made monitors? The TGM V32CQ is a 32-inch curved gaming monitor. It's a VA panel, 2560 by 1440, 170 Hz refresh rate, so that's not bad. And over here, Thermaltake has set up a complete gaming setup, including some of the new Hydrangea blue finish items, such as this desk mat, the keyboard, the case as well, and then they've paired that with Thermaltake's monitors. Apart from that 32-inch monitor, they also have the TGM i27FQ. This one is flat, not curved, still 2560 by 1440, and it has a 165 Hz refresh rate. Let's move on to some water cooling parts. Thermaltake makes a lot of those, and I showed off these new Pacific SF angled adapters and fittings. It's a new line that they were showing off at Computex, but it wasn't quite ready to come to market yet. Thankfully, it is now. We have a new series of radiators as well as these fittings, and look for those to be available in February. Thermaltake swap fans also on display here. I've covered these in previous videos. They have swappable blades on the fans, and again, they have made these available with a Hydrangea blue finish. Over here, we can take a quick look at Thermaltake's Tough Ram. There's the 25th anniversary edition there at the top, and a lot of these other finishes have already been available and out on the market, but if you weren't aware that there's a variety of colors available from Thermaltake's Tough Ram, now you probably know. Look at them all right there. It's nice when they're all just on display for you. The Dr. Power III is a power supply tester that now includes a dedicated, if I can find it, 12 VH power connector, so you can test not just your 24 pin and everything else when you're setting up a new power supply, or you want to make sure your PSU is functional before you plug it into a really expensive motherboard, or maybe you're sleeving cables or something like that. You want to test them out. You can use this. I want to steal this and borrow this and bring it up to our room so I can test Joe's computer that we brought, which is non-functional right now. That, or maybe I could just take a power supply. But honestly, we're of the opinion right now that his motherboard died. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Last thing to show off here, Thermaltake's Tough Power, power supplies, fully modular, 80 plus platinum rated. You got like up to a 1000 watt SFX unit right here, and these are now being updated to support ATX 3.1 as well. The ATX 3.1 update is basically the 12V2x6 connector, a slight variant of that 12VH power connector that has caused some issues with NVIDIA RTX 40 series power supplies. Look for these to be widely available in March, and shortly thereafter we should have the entire Thermaltake Tough Power lineup updated for ATX 3.1 compatibility. And that's all, you guys. They had more stuff than what I showed you here. I tried to pick out the things that I thought you would find the most interesting, so let me know in the comments section if there's anything that stood out to you here at the Thermaltake suite. That is all for this video, but I do have lots more content coming at you guys real soon. I want to say a big thank you to my sponsors for this event, ASUS, Gigabyte, Kioxia, and Cooler Master. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already. Check out my CES 2024 playlist if you want to see all the videos from this event. We'll see you all in the next video.